Wow, well, I wasn't expecting this to happen so quickly, but Apple has issued a new statement on the Siri privacy concerns. The video I called Apple out on a few days ago and said, hey, this isn't okay. I know this is reaching, but it almost feels like they watched it because they basically are doing everything I suggested them to do. So let's look into this statement. So for those of you who don't know, when Apple makes statements to the public or they want everybody to know about something they changed, it's not like they're coming directly to me or anything. I'm not that special, but they do have this portion of their site called Apple Newsroom, and that's essentially where you can learn all of the statements they want to make to the public. And on that page, earlier this morning, they posted an article about how they saw people upset with the fact that they were grading Siri communications using third-party contractors, and as soon as they found out people were upset about that, they immediately stopped doing it. And they're making some changes for Siri improvements from here on out. A lot of you guys responded to that video by saying that you think Siri needs this type of help in order to get better, so you're okay with it, or there's lots of other things Apple does that aren't really privacy focused anyway, so who cares? Some of you referencing iCloud hacking, which, by the way, the iCloud hacks has more to do with celebrities not having secure passwords than it does Apple having a bad stance on privacy. Someone's server's getting hacked into and accessed because they're a celebrity and they have personal pictures or whatever inside. That's not necessarily Apple having a poor privacy policy compared to companies that actively create a marketing profile that then they go out of their way to sell to other companies to say, here's what this person likes, here's what they're interested in. One of these things is something you're a victim of, hacking, and one of them is something you do deliberately. I don't think they should be compared as the same thing. And also that FaceTime bug, that was a huge privacy concern. Again, that's not Apple deliberately making it easy for people to spy on you. That was, of course, a software bug, which all companies have. The important thing is how companies handle it, and I think Apple's doing a pretty good job with damage control when it comes to this Siri debacle, because the changes they're making are, like I suggested in my video, you are no longer by default going to have recordings or messages sent back to Apple for analysis. Now it's something you have to actively opt in for, and of course you can opt out of the helping program at any time. So as someone who doesn't really care too much about what I say to Siri or what Siri happens to hear, that doesn't bother me. I don't really have much to hide. I will gladly opt into that feature. Maybe Apple should reward us for helping Siri, maybe give us a few extra gigs of iCloud storage or something like that. I don't know. They're not the type of company to do that, but to just incentivize people to opt into the Siri helping program so that they can make Siri better with their interchanges, I think there's nothing wrong with that. And also, they're no longer using third-party contractors, so any Siri analysis or any Siri grading that goes on from here on out is going to be done internally at Apple. This is also very good because it means everything can stay retained internally. It doesn't get sent off somewhere else where people who don't even work for Apple are hearing your conversations. And they've even said their team will work actively to make sure that if there's any accidental Siri activation, they're going to delete it right away, so there's not just some giant stockpile of personal information they're collecting at Apple. They also brought up some good points in their article that a lot of people seem to gloss over, especially when they say, oh, Apple's no different than Google or Facebook. They're all collecting your data. The thing is, while Apple was listening in to try to make Siri better, they weren't creating a marketing profile. They were not selling it to third parties so that people can see, oh, this is what this person wants to buy, or this is what this person's interested in, like many other companies do, and they're very open about it. And honestly, how often does a company get caught in a big scandal like this and very, very quickly come out forward, address it, say they were sorry? Apple did directly apologize in this newsroom post, and then actively make changes based on user request. Apple doesn't do this for everything, but this was definitely something I think was worth taking their time on and changing their policies and changing the way they make Siri better because of how much they brag about privacy. So this was a very important change they could make. Lots of companies out there would get caught doing this and try to sweep it under the rug and just consider it a loss. Well, I guess people know we spy on them, whatever, and then kind of just move on from that. But Apple seems to be a company that's very proactive about the right of privacy, and despite the hiccups they've had in the past, whether it be software glitches or accounts getting hacked into, I still think Apple is one of the best companies out there, if not the best companies out there, for respecting their users' privacy and letting them know that their data is secure. And please, people, remember there's a difference between a victim of a bug or a victim of a hacking is different than companies actively trying to collect your data and then going out of their way to sell your profiles to other companies so they know how to market advertisements towards you. Very, very different practices. And Apple, after this statement they made today, I think redeems themselves himself in quite a few ways. I still think this shouldn't have happened in the first place. I still think Apple deserves a slap on the wrist, and they probably got it. From me and lots of other people that said this isn't okay, but I think this is potentially the best case scenario Apple could have handled this situation with, just by saying, hey, we're sorry, that was wrong of us. We're going to take privacy even more seriously now, and we're going to implement all those changes you guys were requesting from us. So good on you, Apple. I'm kind of proud to be an Apple sheep again. And Tim Cook, if you're watching this, you should, I don't know. What should you do? Adopt USB-C on the next iPhone, okay? You watched my last video, and you're watching this one, switch to USB-C. I mean, I use Qi charging for everything anyway, but a lot of people will be happy, so you should do it. Anywho, this is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you guys in the next one.